I think we're all cheats. We are. We're all
Stop
cheats.
saying we. You're just describing Jamie Carragher.
Yeah.
Two of the big six finished 15th and 16th. What are we talking about here?
Adam,
But what are we doing?
Adam.
There is no way in the world that an FA Cup game or a Premier League game should be played anywhere else but in this country.
It's a bit like when people go to watch Batman movies. They go, that Batman movie would it be good if Batman wasn't in it? He's in it. Yeah, but there's a reason.
Liverpool with Isak will win the treble.
Oh. He's thrown out hot take after hot take there.
He looks like he plays with jeans on.
Welcome back to the Fan Debate brought to you by Sky Bet. And this week we're going to go with a topic of hot takes for the new season. So, as I had to explain to Gary Neville what a hot take was a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, something that you think that could happen this season that's maybe a little bit outlandish, that maybe is not the current train of thought of most supporters. So we're going to crack on with that. And where would you always start with someone with a hot take? If there was anyone in here with a hot take, where would you start? Rory, come on. I always feel you've got a hot take every week that we come, and you've normally had a good think about what you're going to say. And
Yeah,
So come on.
to a degree. So something that I said fairly recently got a lot of traction, a lot of heat, and I got it in the neck. But I think like the
you
most
love that though, don't you?
the most not ideal, but you know, it's a hazard of the job. But I think the light that you could shed on this is like very interesting. What I said on air was something along the lines of, I like it when my players cheat. I want Chelsea players to go down in the box. If Didier Drogba's in a situation where he can perhaps initiate contact and fall, great. If you can dive to win a penalty, great. If you can handball it off the line and not get caught, great. And a lot of people gave me some stick. I've got no issue with diving. I like it all, right? Just make sure that you win the game. From a fan perspective, people like to take the moral high ground, but I think a lot of people, if they're being totally truthful, will agree with me. What do you think? Like when you were playing, so for example, Jamie, when you're playing, Fernando Torres in the box, he goes down light. Are you happy or something?
I'm with you in that I think we're all cheats. You know, we are. Yeah. On the football pitch, we're asking for decisions that we know are wrong. We're trying to continually influence a referee as a player when I know we're all
Stop
cheats.
saying we. You're just describing Jamie Carragher.
Yeah. But I think I was. It's funny because I think I would like to push it. I think cheating is. I'm not against people going down. I don't like diving. But I'm not against if a keeper comes out at someone's feet or the defender makes a stupid tackle, I'd be like to my striker, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Use your brain. It's his fault. Don't sort of get out the way of him. Let him hit you. You know, you see a keeper come out at striker's feet, and all the striker's thinking, if I get there before him, I'm just going to run into the keeper. It's a penalty. Now, we all know he's played for it. For me, that's fine. But I wouldn't like if I didn't put a tackle in and someone just fell on the floor. I'd be like, oh, fuck off. You know, that type of thing. But listen, it's top-level football, it's top-level sport. And I would always encourage my attacking player, if I'm at the back, if someone makes a silly tackle, do not be trying to play this game of Mr. Honesty or nothing.
What about
like
famous cheating moments? So I think they're glorious. Like, do you know when Michael Owen initiated the contact with Pochettino in Japan and went down? It was like brilliant. Great
so
work.
I wouldn't
What was the one at Arsenal? Was it Robbie Fowler?
Robbie Fowler didn't go down. David Seaman. Robbie Fowler went down, but then he said it wasn't a penalty.
I think Jamie's right. I think Jamie's right about if there's contact, you go. Our manager said it all the time. Yeah. If someone touches you, you can go down. Right. And sometimes when it didn't happen and you stayed up on your feet, you used to go.
Well, that's what Ronnie Moran, obviously the famous Liverpool coach. I believe he went. I wasn't in the Liverpool team at the time, but I believe he went mad at Robbie Fowler after the game.
Really?
Yeah, I think Liverpool won the game anyway, but I think it was a bit, don't ever do that again. You know, a case of that, and I get that. Yeah. You know, you don't, if a referee's give you a penalty,
you
don't tell the referee it's not a penalty.
What about if either of you, or maybe you've had an experience, say you were on the pitch playing for Argentina when Maradona handballs it in, you happy with that, or are you not?
No.
No, really?
You can't be happy with that, can you? No, I won't be happy with that.
What about when...
I'd be more unhappy with Chilton.
Eh?
What was he doing?
Early days of Ronaldo when he'd occasionally dive and that. Were you guys?
Yeah, we weren't happy with that.
Yeah.
I think as a collective, as a team, we didn't like it. And he got told about that. It soon stopped.
Do you think you're not happy with it as a teammate because if he gets a reputation for that, then he might be less likely to get penalties given against him? If you know he's got a reputation for being a diver.
Absolutely, because that's what will happen.
Yeah, we had it for a whole season at Spurs with Bale where we didn't get a single penalty because he had that reputation of diving. And there was loads where he was getting hacked down, pulled down, and nothing. It does affect you.
Yeah, there was other people that... But you have to tell them, I think, as teammates, you just tell them, don't you?
Yeah.
It can go the other way, though, can't
Remember
it?
Ashley Young?
Salah gets kicked up in the air.
Ashley Young was a nightmare when he had him. Ashley Young was a nightmare. He used to dive all the time.
In training as well, did they do it?
I'll train everywhere.
The thing is with diving though now, you're not going to get away like actually diving in the same way that Ronaldo.
Can't get away.
Defenders get away
with it now.
You know, as a perfect example, now that you're talking, Harry Kane.
Yeah, the master of the back.
But I loved it. I thought when I used to watch Harry Kane playing, I used to think he's just streetwise.
Yeah,
I think
centre forward players.
I think that's probably the best way to describe it. I don't like cheating, but I like being streetwise on the pitch. I don't like, as I said, someone just falling over and you know, someone blatantly cheating. Yeah. But I do like players, as I said, who was street. And Harry Kane, there was no one better than Harry Kane. Yeah, I think in top level football where the margins are so fine, you've got to find a way to win. As long as you're not, you know, you could argue that is cheating by buying fouls and whatever. But Kane was just clever. He'd back into defenders, he'd initiate contact, he'd get free kicks. He was the master of what you were saying before about when a keeper comes out, he's making sure he gets that first touch, knocking it around him and letting him hit him. He did that. So he did it at Anfield, I'm pretty sure, for his 100th. Yeah. But it's just like I think that's okay. You've got Adam, I'm going to come for you with the next one. I think last season you gave us a couple. You said Ten Hag would still be here next season.
Just got sacked today.
Cares Magola.
What are you going with this time?
I think we beat City next week.
Well, I'll enjoy it. Not really a hot.
I'm not going too far ahead.
Adam, see you on Twitter on the quote tweet saying.
I think we beat them.
See you in a bit, mate.
I'll beat them. But I've also got one. I don't know if it's a hot take about this season, but Jadon Sancho is the worst signing Manchester United have ever made, and there's big competition for it. Obviously, we spent 80 million on Anthony, who's useless anyway. But for me, Jadon Sancho is just the biggest waste of space I've ever seen in a Manchester United shirt, especially when you consider his ability that he has. For him to just be so... Talking about freedom when he left Chelsea, and then you look at him now barely getting off his arse to leave the club. I just think he's a disgrace, and I can't wait to see the back of him.
You know, it's funny with Sancho, because he got the reputation in Borussia Dortmund. I always go back to... Me and Gary were on Sky on a show, and they asked us to pick an England squad or something. And we hadn't seen Sancho play too much. He was in Dortmund, doing really well in the Champions League. And we didn't put him in our squad. And I remember on social media, how can you not put... Everyone was just in on Sancho. And when you're saying the worst signing because of his ability, I'm not sure there's much ability there. As in, I think he's okay. I don't understand what his thing is. So I've been critical of Marcus Rashford. But if I picture Marcus Rashford playing well, I can picture his pace, I can picture a shot, I can picture him taking a free kick and hitting the ball really hard. I don't know what Sancho's thing is. Every player, I think, has got something. You might not like certain things. I can't think in my head what Sancho does.
I think it's his ability to dribble in tight spaces.
I've never seen it in my life.
But I think the Premier League isn't...
No, I haven't.
I think that the Premier League, he's not made for the Premier League. He's too slow for the Premier League. And you look at the Premier League now, how quick people are. And one of the red flags should have been, whenever you see a team counter-attacking in Germany, they've got the whole half of the pitch free, and it's just them running down the ground. And it's like, hold on, we should have clocked here that he's running at nobody at defences at times. But yeah, he's just been a massive disappointment. We've had loads of disappointments. Look, I don't think Harry Maguire's ever really lived up to the price tag, but you look at him and he's a consummate professional who really wants to be at Manchester United and will fight for his spot, never chucks his toys out of the Prem. And then you had this guy talking about, oh yeah, I'm finally free from Man United, and Chelsea give us 5 million just to not have to sign him. And he's still stinking the gaff out now, and I just can't stand him, and I just can't wait till he... Villa are making a massive mistake by taking him.
Villa seems a really weird fit to me, considering Emery's kind of track record of like being able to... Emery, to be fair, has got a great track record of bringing players back almost from, not the edge, but like improving them, players that failed elsewhere. But he also wants that 100% commitment and hard work, which you know, you don't know the ins and outs of Sancho's situation.
Emery might be good for Sancho.
I think he would, but I think it's weird to take the
Look,
risk.
I think it's a weird side. You talked before about size of pitch for him as well. Villa Park's massive.
I know, that's what I think. Like Old Trafford, big pitch. If you've got a lack of pace, it really stands out.
Lack of pace, a lack of legs, it concerns you. But look, he's got ability, hasn't he? Like Jamie said, though, well, what's his strength? Does he cut inside and smash it in the top corner? Can he beat him? I don't know. Does he link? Possibly links, possibly with a centre forward. All right, little nice passes down the side of people, but no, I'm just not.
There's times as well where he beats his man and then just brings it back in front.
That's a pace thing, though.
Yeah,
Can't get away from him. He has probably got the skills to go past someone, but they catch him. I mean, he can't go on again that further.
Bad sign as well, isn't it, that the Chelsea ownership have decided to pay money to not sign him.
Yeah.
Like, bad.
Didn't he want the same wages as Palmer? Is that
He wouldn't take a hit at all on his wages. Yeah, it's
idiot.
It was the same at Roma, wasn't it, as well? He would refuse. He refused to go to Roma.
Yeah, because of the wages.
Because of the wages. It's outrageous. Go play.
Maz, last time you were on,
Yep.
your hot take was the officiating in the Premier League is the worst it's ever been.
And you disagreed. And now look at us. Now look at you. Absolutely
Very aggressive there.
no, there you go. No, but no one agreed with me at that point, and
I think I did.
Did you?
I might have done.
It was, and it's just got worse anyway. So
It has got worse. I agree.
it's
Over
got
the
worse
week, I was
because they're scared. They're scared of. Well, no, they get things wrong, and then VAR doesn't help them either. People at Stockley Park get it wrong. It's like, who's actually going to be right?
Mate, you want to come to a League Two game?
Better, is it? Is it better?
Maz, have you got a different one this season?
I do, yes. I don't know. It's a bit. I don't know. I'll go with it anyway and see if it gets cut.
It's definitely staying in now.
So, in the nose / some journalists, I think, ruin the magic of the transfer window.
yes.
That's interesting.
So, what it is, I don't want to name names because I don't want it to be like a personal attack. But I think some, first of all, really do have a big influence on the transfer market, more than they know, and they tweet.
I think they know.
Yeah. Do they? Yeah. Well, my big thing.
Name names. Go on.
David Ornstein.
Okay, yeah, Fabrizio Romano. He's the worst.
Millions of
Arne Slot mentioned him in an interview the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
But like he comes out with some of the stuff he comes out with is so clearly by an agent. An agent's
client journalism.
He's so he's not a journalist. He's not the journalistic pedigree, or whatever you want to call it. It's just gone out the window. Like look at Ornstein, fantastic, brilliant. He only tweets or just says statements when
You did all right, so you weren't going to mention anybody's name.
You told me to do it, so I'm doing it now. They're going to bleep every name now. But no, I just feel like the integrity's gone with these so-called journalists because they do it for clicks, they do it for money. I genuinely believe that. I think a lot. You even see with Brighton players, they tweet stuff. It's just either not true or come from an agent, and it just ruins it. And also, as fans, remember when Odemwingie was ready to go and sign, and you miss all that kind of stuff, and the Sky Sports with people in the background, waving certain objects. We miss that. Bring it back.
That's Sullivan.
Bring it back. We knew Do you know what I mean? We're missing the magic of what we used to have. I don't want to.
That's the curse of social media, though, right?
I know, I get it. And being updated is great. When we all sit here on our phones waiting for an update for our clubs, and it's great. I do get that element of it. But at the same time, it's like sometimes Romano will tweet Garnacho's gone to the toilet. And I'm like, I don't care, mate.
Well, you look at the Garnacho stuff, and it was very clearly agent-driven.
Yeah.
He started posting blue love hearts and that when Chelsea signed him. It's like...
And it was the same thing
have
every
some
day
self-respect,
as well.
man. Yeah.
It's the thing,
Every
it doesn't
single
change.
day,
And it's like, I want to see, just give me the information that I want, whether they've signed or they're going for a medical, the key stuff. I don't want to know about what they've
Bring
had
back
for breakfast or
teletext.
That's so you've got to wait for the page.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think when if on your phone, if you see David Ornstein pop up, you're thinking, okay, so this is done. It's finished.
And I rate that and I like that. But at the same time, there's others that bring that down. There's other sources as well. And it's just frustrating. As a fan, you want the information to be true, and you want to get it in a good.
It's all the copycats it spawned as well. It's mate, you haven't got a clue.
Is it There We Land now? We got that kid.
Let's not go for him.
No. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of it?
What did the people breaking story? Listen, that's the game that everybody's in, aren't they? Everyone wants to be seen as the guy in the know or who's first to break a story. But listen, those two have.
Did you have any journalists that you were close with that you would maybe brief to try and help your contract negotiations or?
Never.
Literally, transfer-wise, I was thinking no. I mean, I needed the club to come in for me first.
You were messaging them.
There's something you've just said there, and I wasn't going to say one, but I was thinking about this over the summer. The thing that I don't like now because of social media, you know when you sign a player, and no one really knows too much about it, and you've seen a few highlights, and then there's people on Twitter giving you threads of what they're like, and they're telling you about his XG and how many goals he's missed. And listen, I love stats because of the show we do Monday Night Football. I'm a bit like, just let me have this hope and this, let me imagine what he's going to be like. It's like someone's telling you what he's like before he's even put the kit on. He hasn't even played yet. And someone's telling you about how high his ceiling is, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, shut up. Just let him play.
Taking away the magic,
That's what I mean,
You know, like, I'm old, so I can remember the 1986 World Cup. And, you know, you're watching that, and there's players you don't know. You're literally watching it, and for the first time you see a player, and you're like, he's boss, isn't he? Look at him. And now it's like you say, there's always an expert on everyone, and it's taken some of the magic away.
People watching 10 games at a time and reacting to it, it's like, how the fuck are you watching 10 games right now?
You never go to bed.
Like, what are you doing?
You get
I think you made a point, I think last time we were on, it's like everyone's got an opinion on a new sign. How do people have the time to watch all these games around the world?
But a lot of that's tribalism as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
They want to start the conversation because the more clicks they get, the more money they get. So they just say stuff.
It's happening with Verts at the moment. People are so desperate because
they hate him now, don't they? Yeah.
Like people at every single.
007.
But it's that sort of stuff does happen. It's like just anyone who watched the game would have known that second half he had a lot more impact, but because he didn't get a goal or an assist, people are jumping on it straight away. And because he was poor against Newcastle, nobody's looking into like the nuances of why that was.
But then it becomes point scoring because United fans will be like, well, when Pogba had a bad game, you all ripped into him, so we're going to go for him
and it
now.
happened with Chelsea as well, with like Caicedo, where Caicedo had that bad game against West Ham. Everybody jumped on it because he was so much money.
But that's football fans.
That's what it comes back
It's
to.
also young football fans growing up on social media where I can say whatever I want.
Tribalism's also dying though, because I see some United fans on Twitter and, I don't know, a Liverpool player will score and they'll be like, oh, fucking amazing and that. It's like, hey, have a day off. What are we doing here, man?
Have you ever dunked a custard cream in a English breakfast tea with milk in? Has anyone ever done that? Why have they got leaf blowers?
That is him.
That's right, said Fred in the front.
You're being cool. Big Fred. Unbelievable.
Gary Neville, grow a proper muzzy or shave it off your scruff.
You just said 4-3-3 before that.
Ça va?
Hello. We're going to start Andrew on 2.5.
Can't wait.
I've waited 18 years to sit down.
Team dynamics actually suit Marcus Rashford. It's Nicky Butt, Teddy Sheringham, Roy Keane, hang gliding over Hotel Pool.
Arsene Wenger saw that I was talking to Lionel Messi. Theo, why did you not push him down the stairs?
Shit.
Give him what he wants! Give him what he wants!
Gareth, what's your hot take?
So you won't be surprised I'm going off to the left and talking about supporters again. And my one really is that I feel as though I get that a lot of supporters just want to go the match, have a pint, watch the team, go home, forget about it. But I think, as someone who is involved with fan activism, if you like, I feel a little bit like there's a lot of footy fans who are asleep at the wheel at the moment. And I think if fans don't come together and oppose this, within 5 years, we're going to have meaningful English football played outside of England.
It's happening in Spain, isn't it?
It's happening in Spain. It's happening in Italy. You know, you've got a scenario where a La Liga game could be played in America by the end of this year. You've got a scenario where an Italian game could be played in Australia early next year. You've already seen Super Cup games played outside of countries as well. And look, you know, it's fine for Richard Masters to say there's no plans on the table right now for the Premier League to do that, but there are 11 American-owned clubs now in the Premier League. Once it gets to 14, there's nothing Richard Masters can do about it anymore. And I'm just a little bit worried that, you know, in the regulator, there's nothing really in there that they can do now either. And it just feels like, you know, there's a direction of travel. And the way to stop the direction of travel, in my opinion, is for fans to come together and say, we don't want this.
Yeah.
We want to protect our football. We want to protect our communities around the football. And there is no way in the world that an FA Cup game or a Premier League game should be played anywhere else but in this country.
I totally agree. But I think one of the things why it's maybe happening in the other countries is because the Premier League is so far ahead of these, and that they feel like they've got to do something to try and claw something back in terms of obviously money and bringing TV rights and stuff. I don't think supporters would allow that to happen. I think that would spark what we've seen around the Super League. I think it really would. The thought that your team, where it's from, is playing a game abroad. Now, where I do think they might try and do it is the Community Shield. Because I think what happens is we take the Premier League teams around the world, almost like, okay, keep the American fans happy, let's keep them on side. But we all know it's a friendly. After teams are changing, the clubs aren't really that bothered. And I think now, obviously, the supporters are getting onto that, aren't they, around the world? They're getting asked to pay huge fees of ticket prices to go and watch United City in, New York.
Not even United City, United Bournemouth. Sorry, Bournemouth. But it's like...
Whoever it may be. You know what I mean? You've got the Premier League series. And I think maybe those supporters are maybe turning off eventually because it's not the real thing and that's what they want. And then it's how they bridge that. And I just don't... No, I don't think supporters...
No,
Did you have that, Scholes?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think the foreign clubs that are doing, the foreign leagues that are doing it, are chasing something. They're chasing what we have. We've got nothing to chase. We've got everything.
Yeah, but we chase money.
Perfect.
We chase the money. There's money at stake. There's a huge amount of money and eyeballs at stake. And it's all very well saying that the supporters won't take it. I think you're right. I think the supporters won't take it. But we'll be powerless. We will be powerless. It's all very well going, Chelsea fans won't have it. Todd Bowley couldn't care less what I say. Of course he couldn't.
Also, the fans that oppose those things are being pushed out.
To be fair, we're all, especially you, we're ex-players, but you as supporters. The Super League, I think that put a real dent and really scared and scarred. I think I think that's put them on the back foot for maybe a good 5 to 10 years. But this will come again. And I think supporters have got to do exactly the same as they did. Demonstrate outside stadiums, thousands of people. You're not accepting that, a club, and it's not about local fans, because we all know the clubs have got fans from all over the place, but for even just for like fairness about like how could one game be played abroad? How does that work with your home and away? You're going for the league, you win the league by a point, or you lose it, or you go down by a point, and one of your home games is abroad.
I think you can tell.
39th game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that got defeated. 2008, that got defeated. But I think you can tell that behind the scenes they're talking about it, because the idea that people who own football clubs in this country don't all talk to each other is frankly bollocks. They do talk to each other. They talk to each other all the time. Someone will introduce an idea. Can we get away with that? Oh, they've got away with that. We'll do that now. And we've seen that over and over again. And I think when you've got Tom Werner coming out the other year, the Liverpool chairman, saying, I want to see games in New York, in Riyadh, in Rio, and whatever else he said. You're like, well, why are you floating that publicly? There's a reason for that. And it's to introduce it into the mindset. And various chairmen, various people with power in football have mentioned it too many times now. And it's a concern. And like I say, for me, and as you're saying, Jamie, as well, get together, organise, get involved with your local supporters group, get involved with the Football Supporters Association. There's a European version of that as well. And there's power in that. There's power in that. This is happening in La Liga. And the Spanish fans aren't happy. They don't want it. And like I say, it's being pushed through anyway. And, they're pushing at the door. FIFA now has got a group which is basically sort of helping to facilitate this tour, not fighting against it anymore. So the final place where the buck stops is us saying, we don't want it, en masse, every day. Write to your MP, do something about it. Like I say, we all just want to have a pint and watch the footy, but kind of think we've passed that. And we've got to sort of almost save our game here from something that we don't want.
Yeah, that's why you've got tremendous respect for the Bundesliga as well, the 50+1.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's why, and I think it's actually a really good thing, like with the overlap and Mark Goldbridge, but the Bundesliga are kind of trying to branch out and get the game more visible, because they know they had to catch up, but they don't want to do it to break the traditions of what the fans are so strongly back, and that is the match-going fans matter. That's why they've got such cheap ticket prices. Obviously, with that 50+1 rule, it's hard, basically fan-owned for the most part. And like you said, with American owners in the Premier League, the reason that it's happening in Serie A is because I think the majority of owners in the Premier League are American. And, I'm sorry, in the Serie A are American. Eventually, it's not going to be Como against Lazio played in America. It's going to be the Milan derby. It's going to be, and in Spain it's the same thing. It's not going to be Valencia against Getafe. It's going to be Barcelona against Real Madrid. So yeah, in terms of get into it before it's an issue, that's the most important thing to try and prevent it. Like, we did react really well with the Super League, and I think you're right, that did put them on the back foot, but it will come round again.
Yeah.
It 100% will come round.
Supporters have shown though, like with the £30 ticket away cap, stuff like that, we've kept going for years and years, and we need to, like Gareth said, there we've got to just make sure we lock in and make sure we don't let this slip away.
I think the issue is though, like Adam kind of said, is that people do kind of get worn down eventually, especially when it's the lifeblood of football, like the match-going fans that are getting priced out of the game as well. Season ticket prices, because of how much money there is in football, how many costs, etc. Season ticket prices are going up every single year, and eventually you probably do get to a point where you become a little bit numb to it and go, I'm not doing this anymore. Someone then takes your seat on a week-to-week basis that doesn't love the club as much as
more passive support, less season ticket holders, more of a
like,
transient fan
City, for example, trying to get rid of. I don't know the ins and outs of it fully, but like a lot of clubs are trying to remove season ticket holders, and it's just like it's scary. Yeah, it's quite scary.
Luke, mate, have you got a hot take for us?
Well, obviously that's a great subject, but mine's a bit more related to the actual on-pitch stuff. I've gone for Oscar Bobb, more goals and assists than either of United's 2 forward signings. Amazing. Not combined, but separately.
Can you say a sentence or anything without mentioning Man United? Let's try it again.
Man United are shite. I'll go. Yeah. So
above you in the league, but shite.
Hot take. I think Oscar Bobb will outdo in all comps both of those United players.
Goals and assists, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's already behind.
Where'd you back that up? Because they're obviously bigger names, probably got bigger reputations.
He's an academy product. Last season, obviously, he was injured pretty much the entire season. The year before, sort of broke through, had a big goal against Newcastle. I think, like we were saying, the wingers at City need big outputs this season, and I think Oscar Bobb will be better than both of them, which obviously both been signed for big money.
Based on what, though?
I think he's an unbelievable
Does
player.
he play in your best team? No.
I think he does. I think he does play in our best team. I think he does on the right wing. I think he plays in our best team, and I'm sure we'll see that this season. But that's my hot take. I'm sure everyone's looking at me funny, which is why it was clearly a good hot take. Gary Neville needs a few tips, I think, after saying, what was it? I can't even remember.
Dan, we're going to come to you. West Ham.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, it doesn't have to be on West Ham.
No. No, it's on the Big Six. The Big Six, right? This might be controversial with some of you. But there's a lot of talk about how, they've built their success, they've earned their status, and I'm saying that they didn't earn their status, they just got lucky, right? All the Big Six, especially the Red Cartel. And
we're bottom 6, by the way, at the moment.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're still looked at as...
Also, please, what is this cartel nonsense that these...
All right,
Newcastle fans running around talking about cartel. These lot talking about...
Whoa, I never said nothing about
these
cartel.
These lot are state-owned by one of the biggest, richest states in the world. And they run around going, oh, there's cartel going on. Mate, have a look at yourself.
FFP, mate. You literally created it. It's in the hands of those clubs. That's why...
To stop people like you having dodgy, fake sponsorship deals when you've got no fans.
You've killed a load of other clubs and you've killed your own situation financially.
But you said on the last episode, you talked about a food chain, right? The reason there is a food chain, because your club's got lucky, it's all about timing. We agreed that football comes in cycles, right? So teams are successful for a period and then they'll fade out.
Premier League titles.
There you go, right? Well, so we're look at the 90s, right? If you swap teams of the 70s, the 80s, 50s and 60s, and they had their period in the 90s, they would be the Big Six. Huddersfield, when they was winning league titles, if you swap them with Man United, then we're talking about Huddersfield as one of the Big Six. The Invincibles, if Preston had their Invincibles in 2004, they had theirs in the 30s, we'd be talking about Preston. So all these teams that sit there and go, we're top of the food chain, we earned it, we built it, they just got lucky in terms of timing. City and Chelsea, in terms of when they had their owners come in and buy them, this is pre-FFP, this is pre-PSR. So they got lucky in terms of the timing that they was bought. And Newcastle, as much as you're saying, well, you've got Saudi, you backed club and
Are we suggesting that
they can't
that state-owned club should just be allowed to do it?
No, but the point...
Because we're talking about football dying and we're worried that games are going to be played in America and all this, but then we're going, well, actually, let's get these big states in and let them do what they want with our clubs. That's killing football even further.
That's a different point.
It's not competitive, it's killing football even more. It's killing football even more.
When are you going to have a Qatari owner?
Listen, I think Dan's got a point in terms
more
of
than
timing.
anyone.
I think you have got a point in terms of timing and being there at the right time. So are we getting to the point where you're saying PSR should be. Is that what you're getting to?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that Newcastle should be able to just spend unlimited amounts of money.
And I agree.
But there has to be something in place that other clubs, the ladder's not pulled up, and it's like, well, these 6, they're established. We want to keep them at the top.
They're always going to have the most money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And when it comes to media attention, things like that, the reason why, we have all this Big 6 content and, in your job, you focus on the Big 6, is just because these teams were good in the 90s and early 2000s and to mid-2000s. That is it. There's nothing to say, history is so rich. And Liverpool do have a rich history, and some of these clubs do. But look at Everton. Look at Aston Villa. Look at Nottingham Forest.
So these teams, they vote for it. It's the 14 votes. FFP was introduced. I'm pretty sure it was United, Arsenal. I can't remember the 4 teams at the top there, and Liverpool. And then everyone else voted for those rules.
Yeah, but I think what it was
against it, said to everyone at the time,
wonder why.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but I think what it was intended to do in terms of protecting clubs and Sheffield Wednesday, it's not being used for that. It's just being used to cap clubs and limit clubs rather than Newcastle don't need protecting from going bust from their Saudi owners. So what are we doing here?
So do we allow states to just have their way with football?
Why does it matter?
That's how you lose football.
But we're saying it's not relative to revenue. That's
what we're talking about here.
Why is it okay if it's Roman Abramovich or a state?
I didn't say it was okay if it's Roman
That's what I'm saying.
Abramovich.
A state doesn't make. If you've got billions and billions of pounds to spend, whether it's a state, an oil baron, or anything, it's money.
I think it's fair to say. I think when you look at say an Aston Villa and a Newcastle, we both agree that both managers have done amazing jobs. Spent a bit of money, not reckless, got to a certain point, and it feels like they can't go any further. And that'll probably be the same if Everton get their act together. West Ham, your club, those type of clubs who we don't see as the Big 6. Yeah. It's like, where can you ever have that hope or dream that you could win the Premier League or get in, even sometimes maybe even get into the Champions League in some cases? I do think it's fair to have the discussion around PSR feels like it's not working right now for a lot of teams within the Premier League, and you lose that little bit of hope that maybe... You're talking about maybe going back to a situation where I think it was the decade of the 70s when there was maybe 6 or 7 teams in that decade who won the league, the First Division.
Yeah.
I think Everton, obviously Liverpool, Leeds, I think Derby won it, Nottingham Forest. You're almost thinking, would you ever get to that point? And I think it'd be really difficult.
Yeah, you always felt like a team had a chance that maybe was on the outside. We 85, 86, we ended up finishing 3rd and having a really good season. But there's a hope and a belief. Even Chelsea, when they got their ownership, all the other clubs were thinking, oh my gosh, imagine we get taken over and we could potentially have an owner that can pump money into us and we can climb up. You want hope in football that your team can be successful and win leagues.
But that still exists, doesn't it? Haven't we seen enough to say, like West Ham, for example, winning silverware? Leicester City winning the league. Like there was a year where Queen's Park Rangers could have beaten Liverpool to the league title. I think Liverpool played a week later or whatever. QPR would have won the league. I think they fell a point.
That was the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like that dream that Rangers fans had that year is only the same dream that Leicester fans had in 2016.
Yeah, but that was an anomaly, wasn't it? Like there was no way they could build on it. Where are Leicester now? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to be you. We want to be able to stay up there.
Qualify for the Champions League. Win the FA Cup in '97, the Super Cup in '98.
What? Do you think that had any bearing on your success now? It's Roman Abramovich.
Of course it did. Roman Abramovich
did not.
Roman Abramovich literally wanted to buy a team that were in the Champions League. He bought a team in the Champions League.
Okay, but look at Newcastle. They just qualify for the Champions League and can't sign anyone. So
do you know where I think it goes? It goes deeper than that. The bottom of the table. Coming up from the Championship and coming into the Premier League, I think, and I hate to say this, but for the first time in a long time, Sunderland have done really well in the way they've spent. They have been really smart in how they've spent, and for the last 5 years, they've fed off their academy, and I think because of that, they will end up staying up this season. But how often does that happen?
Why? And I'm not even saying I like these rules, but just out of curiosity, you know how Manchester City worked out a way to kind of sponsor and make some money out of sponsorship? Chelsea have done it, not in a great way either, but just kind of sold a hotel to ourselves, sold a ladies' team. Why have Newcastle, under the ownership of the PIF, not done something like that? Like, you have no...
We've obviously played it safe to not end up in a situation which, as you say, 9 times out of 10, if you're not one of the Big 6, your court case will go through like that. You'll get a decision made on you like that.
We've been
Sorry,
waiting 2
Luke.
years.
Sorry, Luke. But 115 charges.
How long years? It's not gone through like that, has it?
But you can't with the big
feel like
six
I'm
thing, though,
twice
and
the
I may
age.
have missed your point, so tell me to shut up. But the big six never going to change because of stuff we already talked about, social media, the
Two
world.
of the big six finished 15th and 16th. What are we
that's
talking
not-
about
listen,
here?
Adam,
But what are we doing?
Adam
still spending that
Listen,
money.
you can stand over for fucking state of Saudi Arabia.
That's the
Jesus
point.
Christ, man. What are we doing, man? If you want football to die,
You can
just
finish,
say it.
yeah, but you can finish 15th and 17th and still go and sign Cunhas and Embuemos. You can take off the teams that finish
the point
The
I'm trying to
point
make.
is, as the Premier League obviously takes over the world, if somebody grows up and they want to support a team, they're probably not going to support Brighton, and they may support
because
you,
of luck. Because you was good when Telly, Sky, all of that became
that's
a thing.
like when people play.
Biggest
I don't know,
attendances in
You
the
got
70s,
lucky.
isn't it?
That's what I'm
but it's a
saying.
bit like when people go to watch Batman movies. They go, "That Batman movie would it be good if Batman wasn't in it? He's in it."
Yeah, but there's a reason.
But we were in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. You're lucky. So stop saying it. We built it. We earned it. We did it. You got lucky because you was in the right place at the right time in the 90s.
Yeah, but but good.
If
Great.
you were- if
awesome.
you were
But
crap
you
in
would
the
want that
90s.
too. So I don't understand.
United were a cup team in the 70s.
That's right. Yeah, Batman's super lucky.
Big attendances.
But Telly
big crowd.
came in. Telly came
Yeah, but
in.
United have always been one of the biggest clubs in England, and they've got the biggest revenue in England because they've got one of the biggest stadiums. It's like with Spurs, we get kind of lumped into these cartel six kind of conversations. We've done everything kind of by the book. We've built a new stadium, generated a load of different revenue streams to actually make ourselves sustainable. But we get lumped into these conversations somehow. I don't really understand it. Like, I just think you can't. Sometimes I understand it. I understand Newcastle, Villa's frustrations. Villa took a massive gamble in January, spent a load of money on wages. Ultimately, on the footballing side, they didn't get over the line, and that's what's cost them in this summer transfer window. So the buck also has to stop with the team and the manager at some point as well.
Yes,
right?
but they're
bottled
operating at a handicap because they don't have the big six status
Yeah, but
and
they
all the
literally were
global
paying
fan
half
base
of
like
Rashford's
you
wages
are.
in January. They got Asensio, like they were paying big wages. That's what's ended up costing. You have to look at the manager.
Man United.
Yeah, you have to look at the manager and the
We
players
just
as well.
we
Like,
have
it's
to
not
do
just about-
we have to do what we have to do to try to compete. That's the point.
The league is as competitive as it's ever been. Look at Newcastle, Villa, like it's Bournemouth.
Dan's had the best hot take because basically a hot take is to wind everyone up.
Oh, it's I'll win a prize.
Joe, we're going to finish with you on your hot take.
I think the final of the League Cup will be Manchester United versus Sunderland. Oh, no, it won't be, will it? Just had to bring it back a little bit from earlier. No, my big one this season is I genuinely think, and it's almost a little bit of a comedy and a typical one, I do think José Mourinho will come back to the Premier League, and I think by the very end of the season, he will also be sacked from the Premier League. And
What team? Where do you think he'll end up?
West Ham.
I hope so. That's a recipe.
I do.
Disaster.
It's a one of those where, like, I mean, to be fully honest with everyone sitting here right now, the chances are with the madness of how managers have been at Spurs recently, it's probably only going to ever be Spurs or West Ham. And I think
No, it'll be
two.
West Ham or Forest. You could see him at Forest.
Forest is very possible.
Marinakis would love him.
Forest,
Be some Netflix documentary that.
But yeah, I think Mourinho will come in and you'll
So
go.
Jose's back. Okay.
And I
Is anyone-
also think Liverpool with Isak, heavily because of Isak, will win the treble.
Oh, treble.
I think that is the
He's thrown out hot take after hot take.
I think that is the missing link to Liverpool right now. Is
Treble's outrageous.
You need a comparison to Haaland, and you're about to get him. It
Has
hurts.
everybody had the hot take? Have I missed anyone?
Can I
else?
throw
Ben,
one
have you had one?
I'd say one. I think Thomas Frank's going to win a trophy at Spurs before Mikel Arteta wins his next trophy.
That's been the favourite
How
one.
did everything work out? Is he doing well for you? When he just decided to ring Arteta and go, "Can I come to your club instead? Don't make me go to Tottenham, please."
Is Eze feeling all right?
The thing is with Eze,
an accent,
I can look. It was embarrassing for Tottenham. We can live with that. He was an Arsenal fan. He wanted to go there. Whatever. The bottom line is, Mikel Arteta doesn't know how to get over the line. Spurs have got the trophy monkey off.
What's
the back.
Thomas Frank? I like Thomas Frank. But what's he done to prove he can get over the line?
Thomas Frank was at Brentford, making that team greater than some of his parts. He didn't prioritise cup competitions because ultimately the bottom line was to stay in the Premier League. He's shown that he can overachieve. Like, his record against the big six is very, very good. Now he's got a bigger, deeper squad at Tottenham. You'd imagine there'll be more focus and priority on the cup competitions. I think it will be a little bit like I think you've become.
Wait, are you saying like the Carabao Cup? over before City wins anything.
Yeah, but
that wouldn't placate anybody at Arsenal who won the Carabao Cup. That's the issue.
How can you have that attitude when you've won nothing?
It's not my attitude. It's not my attitude. That's of the fan base. They want more. So that's the issue. They want more than
you can't turn your nose up at a Carabao.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for us the issue
like...
is it's great if Thomas Frank does it. If Arteta wins it, and people just go.
Yeah, because that's not the process. The process went to win the Carabao
exactly.
Cup.
That's it.
Yeah, but you haven't done. We haven't.
That doesn't mean it. But that's the thing. So even if that did happen,
I don't understand how you can set that high. Like, fair enough, you're competing for the biggest honours, right? But you can't turn your nose up at those competitions.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't. But I'm saying the issue is he could win it, and we'll still have this conversation.
The narrative would still be.
Whereas
it changes massively.
Bottom line.
That's it. I agree with you. It's not, I'm agreeing with you saying it's not enough for Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, bottom line is I think he'll win a trophy first. I think we'll be a little bit like we were under Poch, where we were getting to semi-finals and finals and not quite getting over the line. But I do actually think, like Thomas Frank spoke about the mentality of the group when he came into the squad, I do think that as much as last season was a terrible season, we've been able to keep the captain that helped us get over the line to win the trophy. I do think there is a bit of a difference in mentality with Spurs going into this season. Hopefully, after having such a long drought, hopefully that taste of success is what can then get us over the line when we couldn't do it under Poch. And I feel like you're showing all of the signs that we had under Pochettino, even though you spent a lot more money than we did. We spent hardly any money and proved that you can't do it. So I think we're going to get there first and win something.
Simon, I've got to go to you.
So, yeah, I mean, I may have to defer to you this on this because you probably know more than I do. I think the reason Amorim will still be in charge at the end of the season is nothing to do with results. It's because Jim Ratcliffe doesn't want to show face. Like, he's a business owner and he probably thinks, I know better than the fan base. I built all these $1 billion, I presume it is, businesses. So the reason he'll stick with him is because that's his first big decision he's made. And if he holds his hands up and say, I got it wrong too, like the Glazers got it wrong, just watching some of his interviews, that's why I think he would keep him based on arrogance.
I'm not sure it was his decision. I think a lot's made of... No, but I think... Is it...
Barada and Wilcox.
I think it was Barada's decision. I mean, you might know more than me, but...
That's what I wanted to refer to you about.
There was a lot of talk about Amorim, when there was talk about Pep potentially moving on, Amorim potentially being there, and Barada left there, so maybe there's something in that. I think Ratcliffe would stick with him, but if we are mid-table or lower, like, by Christmas, I think you've got to,
I think he's gone by January. I do. I really do.
I thought it was a Jim Ratcliffe thing.
There's something there to it. Because didn't he sack your director of football because he wanted Southgate instead of Amorim?
No,
because
I don't know if it was all about Southgate, but again, with that Ashworth thing, I kind of thought, why are you bringing him in if you're going to get rid of him straight away? But then I can kind of respect if you think something's not working after a month going, let's just end this now rather than hold on.
I'm not sure Ratcliffe gets involved that much. I think he just leaves it to the people he's got in charge.
He just sacks up all the tea ladies.
I tell you what,
we'll edit that one out.
Okay, we'll go with Gyökeres scores the most goals in the Premier League. There you go. That's what we're going to go with. Wow. It's never going to happen. I'll go with it. Top Premier League goals.
He's shy.
Now you...
He's
like Tony Soprano running from the police.
Yeah.
Now you know when he's running in the snow. It's Tony Soprano.
Looks like he's playing with jeans on.
Now you build Gyökeres up. We said before about not judging players after 3 games, but there was a lot of talk before he came in of like his goal record's amazing, but there was then a school of thought of other people saying, I'm not quite sure this guy's good enough for the actual elite. Now, we've only seen him for 3 games. He's already got 2 goals, but he's not the easiest on the eye, is he? He's not. No, he's not.
Did you hear what someone said? I don't know who it was. He looks like he plays
in jeans.
You can have that one.
I think he is. So I watched him again. He was actually the funniest person to watch when I went to the Leeds game because.
By the way, Leeds let everyone score.
No, but what I mean is though, it's like, how do I describe it? So let's say he does 10 things. 7 of them, you're like, I don't know what that was. And then 3 of them is scoring a goal or getting into the right place. He's going to need a lot of service.
I think his trouble is he's been brought in to be the difference in the big games. Like
that's right,
Arsenal.
and he wasn't.
He's going to be a flat track bully against Leeds, but he's not going to turn up.
We've got to give him time, but no, I think you're right. I think his whole thing will be, all other stats you should ignore with Gyökeres this season. It should be, how many goals did he score compared to how many games did he play? The rest of it is going to be very much much of a muchness. It doesn't matter. But I do see where you're coming from.
I'm still convinced, and I said this before the season, that when Havertz is fit, Havertz will play the biggest games.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. But thank goodness we have the option.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
But thank goodness we have the option. We didn't have the option last year, and we needed the option. And he bullies people. I know it was Leeds, but he was kicking and scratching and clawing. And
Flat track bully.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Lots of pressure now. €1 billion since the last trophy. Lots of pressure.
Euros.
All right. How was 17?
Everyone else is doing it in euros. It sounds better than
country.
Fabrizio Romano.
Right, we're going to call it a day. That's the end of the episode of The Fan Debate, brought to you by Sky Bet. See you next time.